We're getting started. So, when you think about franchises that have wasted potential, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Boy.
There's no wrong answer.
Well, so immediately my answer feels stupid because it's League of Legends, even though it's one of the most popular video games on Earth. It's so painfully inaccessible to anybody else aside from people who are 100% committed to being professional players.
You're not wrong. And it's funny that you said League of Legends because what I wanted to bring up is a game that's very similar, Overwatch. Overwatch, I think, right now is tied with League of Legends and maybe Sonic the Hedgehog as being the franchise with the highest amount of potential and money backing and the least amount of effort being put into it.
So, in what regard? Now, my impressions of Overwatch were largely from people, telling me, hey, I'm not asking you to play this game, I'm asking you to watch all these cinematics they made. Have they, not been keeping up with that?
No.
Oh.
Not at all.
Oh, that's disappointing to hear.
They not only have not been keeping up with the cinematics, they've been throwing the C team at the comics, which is something that they've done since the beginning, but the comics were always supposed to be supplemental material.
C team stands for comic team, right?
I guess apparently. Oh, it's just... How familiar are you with it?
I think I've seen every cinematic they put out up until they started releasing new characters. I think I've seen Sombra is as caught up as I am.
Yeah, she was the first new character. So
and I saw her thing.
Yeah, they released I think almost 8 characters since then, but almost none of them have gotten cinematics, which is really disappointing. I watched a couple of the cinematics for new characters, and they're still images.
Oh.
It's just still images, or animated images. It's not even animation. It's more like parts of the image are moving, but the focus of the image is still, and then voiceover.
Yeah, okay, I'm familiar with those kinds of things. Mortal Kombat 11,
okay.
And arcade endings were all like that.
Oof. But I bring up Overwatch because I've been starting to play it again. And it's fun, and I enjoy this world. I enjoy these characters. There's a lot of potential here. Whenever you start a match, some of the characters in the match chosen randomly will have a little startup dialogue with each other. You don't get to choose what happens or who talks to each other. And I haven't heard all of them yet. And it's cool to hear these two very different characters interacting with each other. I think that's really great. I think they have a really solid foundation with a lot of the characters in that. And they're doing absolutely nothing with it.
That's a shame. And I think that comes from the style of game that it is.
That's true.
The one thing that I've always said about League, even though I despise it as I despise League as a community and the kind of things it invites because of that. Because of the kind of game it is, I always said I'd play a League of Legends fighting game in a heartbeat because the character designs are kind of neat and I'd like to know more about them, but not bad enough to want to look it up in its current form.
Yeah.
And then I found out, wouldn't you know it, they are working on a League of Legends fighting game, so I might get my wish.
Yeah, I think you are actually getting your wish. I also think the guy who helped develop Dive Kick is on the team, so I think, yeah.
Oh boy!
I think you're in good hands for that one. But Overwatch isn't getting such a thing. Overwatch is getting Overwatch 2, which is a nebulous sequel.
And hasn't that been announced forever?
It's been announced for a year now.
Okay.
I think it was teased before then, but nothing's come of it. And it's not even technically a sequel because people who own Overwatch 1 will be able to play with people who are playing it on Overwatch 2. So I don't know how that makes it a sequel.
What?
Yeah. That's like calling Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire a sequel to X and Y.
What?
Yeah. It's not a sequel.
Oh, that's so dumb.
Yeah, it's very dumb. Incredibly dumb, actually.
I gotta say, despite it not being a game I was interested in playing, I did have a lot of respect for Overwatch when it came out. The marketing team behind it seemed very passionate. It seemed well put together. The community didn't immediately toxify.
Not necessarily, no. But over time, what I think they did, and what I think happens, sadly, to a lot of IPs out there, is that it comes out the gates, guns a-blazing, everyone loves it, there's billboards, there's ads, they put them on the Doritos, it's everywhere, and then they don't care about it. They just kind of let it in the wild for a while, instead of nurturing it like you're supposed to.
Right.
and we think about the franchises that we know that still have wasted potential, but not as much wasted potential, I would suppose. Like, I think about Pokemon, right? Pokemon definitely has wasted potential.
Sure, but Pokemon is like almost a perpetual motion machine when it comes to potential.
But think about when it started. When it started, it wasn't just left to fend for itself.
Right.
As soon as it gained any sort of traction, Game Freak took that and started running. They got Yellow out. They got Blue, or in Japan, they got Blue out within a year. They got Yellow out within another year. It was crazy. They didn't just let it go. Mm-hmm. And I know that with Overwatch, it's kind of a continuous updates game, and they're always kind of working on something. But kind of working on something and, you know, putting your whole heart into it is kind of different. I also understand that Blizzard makes a bunch of other games. I guess makes is kind of relative. They update a bunch of other games. But, you know, if something takes off and has a lot of promise like Overwatch does, you think you'd maybe allocate a couple more resources to it to make sure you nurture it a little more.
Huh. Yeah, I suppose. It's still making the money,
Technically
right?
it is, but they're losing money because of it now, too. They funded a huge competitive Overwatch scene called the Overwatch League. Teams from all around the U.S. and a couple of international teams got together once a week to battle in the Overwatch client. And you could buy skins of the teams in the game, so you could represent your favorite team while you played Overwatch. It was kind of cool.
Huh.
It fell apart. Nobody watched it. And nobody watched it because the game was stale. Nobody watched it because updates were few and far between. And they were pumping out heroes once every couple of months to twice a year. And it seems like they kind of dropped the ball. And it could be for any number of reasons. I don't know anything about Japanese game development, and I know even less about Western game development. I don't know what happens in the offices of Activision Blizzard.
So do you think that it's reasonable for them to keep up the pace that you're proposing? Not proposing, but sort of like alluding to?
I think that they would see the returned dividends if Overwatch kept up the pace. Because I think if they kept up the pace that the audience wanted, I think the audience would be more inclined to spend actual real-life money on it. As it stands right now, the only time they ever release something new for Overwatch, if it's not a character, is a holiday-themed skin. There have been no new regular events in Overwatch. It's always a holiday. So there's no incentive for me to ever spend real money on this game. Because I could just wait till the next holiday and get it for free. Anyways, I'm just getting mad because there's a character that's like Gamma, but I get to play as him.
Oh.
His name is Bastion. He's a robot that was originally built to kill humans. That's about it. He got deactivated in the middle of a war instead of getting destroyed. Woke back up, was still in war mode for a little bit, and then forgot it. He gained a little bit of sentience. He has a bird friend, got recruited into the Overwatch. He doesn't even talk. He just beeps. And I love him.
That's adorable. Okay, so that tugs at the same gamma.
It gets me where my heart lives, and I hate to see my boy trapped in this horrible video game. And that's why I talk about potential. You got a Gamma character. That'll sell already. People love Gamma characters. You've got Robot Spiritual Leader.
Right.
He's my favorite.
He's sure got some balls.
8 of them to be precise.
Right.
You've got Cyborg Ninja. There's nothing not to love in Overwatch, and they just keep adding more people who definitely are catering to a specific niche.
Sure.
There is now a Magneto.
Oh.
he's essentially... He's just Magneto, but if he was actually insane instead of kind of insane. And there's just something for everybody in this video game that is trapped in mediocrity. And I hate it.
I mean, even in the base roster, like, I don't like these kinds of games. I'm not good at them, but immediately I was like, oh, dude, the Australian pyromaniac with the stump leg.
And his giant boyfriend.
That's me. I was like this close to like attempting to cosplay Junkrat, and then I saw how like much detail went into the really good Junkrat cosplays, and I was
yeah.
like, I'm not gonna put LED lights in the tips of my wig. I'm not that ambitious.
I'm not gonna learn how to pretend to limp and put the fake prosthetic leg over my knee. Like,
yeah, I had friends at the time who were down to help me because they were builders, and I didn't have the drive to follow through. But immediately, like, it had an appealing character for me.
Yeah.
I love the quirky weirdo characters. I played Voldo in Soul Calibur.
I love Voldo so much.
End of examples, because I don't think I need to justify
Yoshimitsu?
I found as somebody who didn't like click with Yoshimitsu's playstyle, I didn't keep him.
It was a lot harder than Voldo.
Yeah, Voldo, I just, even though Voldo was like a weirdo, I got the fluidity of him in 3. They changed his move set in every game.
Yeah. Yoshimitsu is like a stance character almost.
Yeah, and I only got into stance characters very late into my Soul Calibur fan experience with Siegfried. But yeah, like, and the converse, it would be cool if more games got different genre installments. I know Soul Calibur did have whatever Soul Calibur Legends was supposed to be.
Oh god, don't remind me about that video game. It's okay.
And
they tried.
And it was the same, around the same kind of time as Dragon Ball Z did Dragon Ball Z Sagas.
Yes.
And they were virtually the same game with like virtually the same underwhelming problems.
Yep.
And then Dragon Ball Z decided to take those ideas and make it into an advanced fighting game with the Budokai Tenkaichi series, and Soul Calibur just dropped the idea altogether.
Yeah.
But I love that genre shift stuff. I wish that we could see, because not everybody's like, I love fighting games. I'm not good enough at them to like ever compete, but I would love to play. Yeah, I would love to see more fighting games for things that are cool, but I would otherwise never get into. And the converse is true. Not everybody likes fighting games.
Yeah.
And it would be cool if Soul Calibur or Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat had like spin-off games that were adventure-y and all that.
That's true, yeah.
Shaolin Monks is apparently a very good game. I've never got my hands on it.
I've never played it either.
And then the other spin-off Mortal Kombat games were garbage.
Yeah.
But you had the opportunity to play as these characters in a different setting.
And right now that's actually doing pretty well. Like Tekken is a really huge thing right now, which is a Capcom-based card game on mobile.
Oh.
And it's got all sorts of Capcom characters in it. You can build and it's kind of like a fighting game where it's a card game based on momentum instead of I take my turn and then you take your turn. It's like we do fighting game moves by playing a card.
Okay.
But the cards are themed after all sorts of Capcom characters. There's like a Sigma card. There's like Resident Evil, Devil May Cry. It's definitely Street Fighter. But that's big right now. People like seeing their favorite characters in different lights.
Yeah.
And I would love for Overwatch to have something similar. Overwatch is already a term used for strategy RPGs, where Overwatch is like a mode where a character looks out around their surroundings and will take the first shot at something that advances towards you. Like, that's their action. You put them on Overwatch.
Ha.
And so, like, it writes itself.
Right.
It writes itself. I'm making exaggerating hand gestures, audience. Like, I'm getting passionate about this because I want to see the big funny monkey with glasses do something else.
Yeah, dude. Winston is like my 5th favorite fictional gorilla.
Yeah. Oh, who are your other top 4?
So it's mostly Donkey Kong and characters from Donkey Kong.
Okay, so we've got Donkey Kong,
Chunky Kong,
and Lanky too.
Well, Lanky's an orangutan. Yeah,
okay.
Lanky's an orangutan.
Okay, so we're talking about gorillas.
Yeah, so it's
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong's number
Chunky
1,
Kong.
and Chunky's got to be number 2.
Okay.
And maybe I was being a little hyperbolic because I can't immediately call upon.
What about Darmanitan?
Darmanitan is also an orangutan.
Oh, that's true.
Come on.
Okay, gorilla. Well, gorilla
the
tactics.
the gorilla on the Kashi cereal.
Oh, the bunny.
The Gorilla Munch gorilla. The Russell My Jimmy's gorilla.
You're Grimblin his Gropals.
Yeah. So I have my morning protein shake, right? I have it. It's like, I tell people that it's loosely gorilla themed if they ever want to make it at home. Remember, it's banana for Donkey Kong, peanut butter for Winston, almond milk, because what else are you going to use in your Kashi brand Gorilla Munch? Cocoa powder for Coco the gorilla, and you make the whole thing with your dick out for Harambe.
That's my phone for some reason. Sorry about that, listeners. It's a scam likely from Tennessee.
That was also a hilarious like punctuating sound to put to that. So
anyways, this is It's Still Cool, episode 3. I'm Tony.
And I'm Jesse.
And in this podcast, we like to talk about things that we're passionate about and how they're still cool. Almost. Sometimes they might not be still cool.
Yeah, we're certainly on the topic of things whose coolness has stagnated.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
So I think that's a good enough theme for tonight. A little behind the scenes for you. We basically just ambush one another each week with a topic. We don't plan anything.
None of this is planned, but I think that's part of the charm of it, and hopefully that's why you're here, unless you're here out of obligation, which, thank you. I'm making like a praying motion towards the microphone here.
Right. Much appreciated all of my friends who sat through our super rough first episode.
Yes, thank you. Now you can hear me better. Most definitely.
So we're hoping that It's Still Cool is still cool.
Oh no. Are we going to become the thing we talk about? We can't get that meta yet. We're only in episode 3.
Alright, for 1 year anniversary, meta episode.
Okay, we'll have a meta episode, but that's further behind. We'll talk about something else in the meantime. For that long, at least.
So I want to quickly jump off of... I restrained myself because we were on a good flow.
Right.
But you were talking about how Overwatch has the pre-fight dialogue.
Yeah.
Which is cool from my perspective because I'm only familiar with that in fighting games.
Oh, yes.
And that's a great tool that a game maker can use to give some insight into the characters.
Yes.
Mortal Kombat is where I'm most familiar with it, but when I played the Dragon Ball Z fighting games religiously, those were hysterical.
Yep.
If you, in Budokai 3, if you beat Kid Trunks as Vegeta's win quote, he says, "Then you can forget about going to the amusement park."
Why?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I loved Mortal Kombat 9. I think it's my favorite entry in the series, but they didn't do character dialogue. Every character had one opening quote, and it was really monotonous after a while. Like,
no.
I love Smoke, but if I have to hear him say, "Where there is smoke, there is fire," one more time, I'm gonna rip his head off with his spine attached and break his body open with it.
You'll unlock your own fatality.
Yeah, I'll unlock my... Exactly. And then in Mortal Kombat X and now in Mortal Kombat 11, they did a really good job with the character-specific dialogue. There's just the characters dunking on each other is great. The games are a little too like meta to at this point because Mortal Kombat's makers are like, all right, they're doing like Sonic's Twitter, but they're doing it in their game, where they're like really painfully self-aware, and it's a little embarrassing.
No.
Shao Kahn literally says, "Let us make Outworld great again."
Oh.
That's... I think every episode we have something that severely dates the episode of recording.
No, I think that's going to be in the public consciousness for a long time, whether we like it or not. So I don't think we have to worry about that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a little obnoxious, but mostly it's very fun. It's very amusing. It's a very good insight into the characters. I remember in Soul Calibur, a lot of them would... Because Soul Calibur, like, never really kept up with plot for, like, the first...
it was really loosey-goosey
4
for a
games.
long time.
And so a lot of characters would have dialogue with each other that was super cryptic. One that stands out is Talim, the little Indian girl with
Talim.
the tonfas. And Necrid, the, like, weird Todd McFarlane...
Yeah, I remember
He
Necrid.
wasn't a pre-existing character, but he was, like, Todd McFarlane was a guest creator for the character.
Yeah.
And Talim, before their fight, she goes... "You're human, aren't you?" And that's never elaborated on ever, because Necrid never comes back, of course.
Why would she know? Of
Right.
all the characters. What makes her so special?
And that one always stood out like a sore thumb, but there were tons of examples of the characters just like, yes, I remember back in college, your grandfather came to visit us once, and then Raphael would say, "I'm sorry, what?"
Or Nightmare says, "The soul edge is mine."
Yeah, right.
I personally very much enjoy in the earlier Soul Calibur games where they would just scream at each other before the battle started.
Yeah, they kind of...
You pick your characters and then Link's like, "Yeah!"
Well, and that was the character select scream. Yeah, they all had like a shout.
A lot of them were more than just a shout. They were more a terrified screech.
Yeah. Oh no! That's on the loading screen.
Yeah, on the loading screen.
You could press a button and make them do one of 4 shouts. Yeah. Oh god, what a weird little touch, right?
And then the narrator would also say something very poetic and vaguely threatening.
Yeah.
Today, your fates will be decided on this bloodstained battlefield.
Right. Oh God, the Soul Calibur narrator was just like, he was just tripping balls the whole time. He's like, fate has conspired to something. Their fated battle. I can almost remember bits and pieces. Mind you, like Soul Calibur, even though I hear 6 did okay, I've not been. Right. I played through the story mode of Soul Calibur 5 on a friend's copy of it, and then completely forgot about Soul Calibur.
5 and 6 continue the tradition of the crazy guest character, because they know that that's what worked for them back in 2. So 5, I don't know how much you played of 5. 5 had the Star Wars characters.
No, 4 had the Star Wars characters.
Oh God, I'm old.
Yeah, 4 had Ungrabbable Yoda.
Darth Vader.
Overpowered Starkiller.
And
And then 5 had Ezio.
Right, 5 had Ezio.
Ezio?
I think he had Ezio. Yeah, Ezio is the first assassin.
I think it's the second assassin.
But he's the only one that mattered, really.
Okay, yeah. They had an Ezio-esque character, and then 6 had...
6 has 2B and The Witcher.
Oh, that's right, because The Witcher's on, like, a Gaming World tour. He was in Monster Hunter Iceborne, or Monster Hunter World, and then he was in Soul Calibur 6, and I was waiting for him to get added to Smash. I don't particularly think he'd be a good Smash choice, but I think it's funny that he's...
I mean, it's possible, right? He's kind of like a Cinderella story of game dev right now, so...
Yeah.
Like, The Witcher came from a company that was making fairly mediocre games to one of the most highly acclaimed games ever, almost surpassing Skyrim.
With a very successful Netflix series.
Yes, and now they're making Cyberpunk 2077, which is like the most anticipated game of all time.
Most anticipated?
Yeah. Like, people are putting this game on the pedestal of being the greatest game ever, and it's not out yet. So, we'll see how that goes, listeners.
I'm getting heavy No Man's Sky vibes.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, they're not promising the world, and that's the thing. It's the audience doing this based off of the success of Witcher 3.
Oh.
And the potential gloriousness of a setting. Because it's cool to be in a future city where you can have a robot dick.
Oh yes, the robot dick. I forgot that was the whole hype around the game that I was aware of.
You can have your robo-hog.
That sounds like something Eggman would try to do.
Listen, Sonic, I've got my robo-hog all prepared.
What, is that like another Metal Sonic? Or, oh God!
You'll never know where the off switch is.
Get a load of this.
See, it's got a little mouth and a little beak.
No, stop.
I will cease this.
But he'd call it the Egg Hog, not the Robo Hog.
That's true. He's got to have that branding. Speaking of pre-fight dialogue, a game that has been saved by it recently is Sword and Shield with the Galar Star Tournament.
Oh yeah, we have the closest thing we're gonna get to pre-fight dialogue in a...
It's so good. I've been addicted to it even though the rewards are diminishing.
Oh?
So they only give you 1 million Poke Dollars on the first completion. Every other completion, you just get a random amount of money between 500 or 50,000 and 100,000.
Okay.
But it's worth it because of the pre-fight dialogue.
So let me see if I remember. You're in a doubles battle with a character of your choosing?
Yes. So at first you can only choose Hop or Marnie, and as you keep playing it, you unlock more people who decide to be willing to be partners with you.
God, I feel bad for Hop. Nobody's going to pick him.
Not even his brother picks him.
Oh no!
So I never picked Hop because I don't like him. So the first time I picked Marnie, and then every other time I picked someone else because I unlocked someone new.
Sure.
So every time I face Leon, he's paired with Peony.
Oh.
I don't know why. But
I haven't finished the Crown Tundra stuff yet. Again, like light Crown Tundra talk here for those of you if you haven't played it yet. But people keep talking about Peony with a lot of certainty about who he is and his character, and yes. I haven't beaten Crown Tundra, so I don't know how much is like true.
All right, lay it on me then.
Well, obviously he looks like Chairman Rose, and people are just saying that they're brothers.
They are brothers.
Okay.
He does mention his brother.
Okay.
At being the chairman in like passing. He doesn't really know. He's been so far removed from the events in Galar, he doesn't know what happened.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then there's just other stuff here and there. People have like been doing a lot of fan art of Peony, and I don't know how much of it is canon or not.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot more personality than a lot of the characters in base Sword and Shield.
Yeah, and he's cool. At first, I thought I wouldn't like him because he was super exaggerated.
Yeah,
but
but then it kind of grew on me like dad humor does.
yeah,
I think
no,
that's
he
kind of
works.
what they were going for.
And I'm really disappointed that his daughter really does nothing else. She just sort of like is ungrateful for her dad's super fantastic tundra vacation adventure, and then she just sits in a cave.
Don't worry, she will get a little bit of redemption during the ending segment of the Crown Tundra, so I won't say anything more about that.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. That's more of me expecting Game Freak to not do anything with her than actually like assuming.
Yeah, like this is the baseline.
Yeah,
they're gonna make a character and then not do anything with them. But the pre-fight dialogue in the Galar Star Tournament is it's so good. A lot of the time, Piers and Raihan end up getting paired together.
Oh boy!
And their pre-fight dialogue is Piers sings about it first because he takes out his microphone, and Piers sings about how Dark and Dragon both are strong, but Fairy makes us like quiver or something.
Ooh!
Like because they're both weak to Fairy types.
Yeah, that's cute.
And so Raihan says, "You just keep singing, Raihan. I'll do all the damage we need." Or no, you keep singing Piers.
Yeah,
you keep and it's just so good. Like. Raihan does like his like really angry stance where like he's like screaming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, what
dragon stance.
Yeah. Like what is going on between these two?
God, I'm one legendary mission away from unlocking the Galar Star Tournament.
I think you're gonna love it. I finally unlocked Bede because Bede did not want to be my partner for a long time.
Boy, I can't imagine why.
And all of his so you get to talk to your partner between every match. Every time I talked to Bede, I regretted picking him.
Oh, boy.
Because he made me feel bad. He made me feel bad about picking him. He was like, I appreciate you choosing me as your partner, but I can't count this as a win with you being the champion and all.
Wow.
Like, how am I going to show my real strength if I won because of the champion? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of did just carry you. I'm sorry.
Poor Bede.
I feel so bad for him.
Well, it's... Bede should give himself a pat on the back because he carried Sword and Shield.
You're not wrong.
Because, boy, Marnie wasn't going to do anything, and Hop couldn't do anything.
Hop had a midlife crisis in the middle of the game.
Yeah, mid-adventure crisis.
Mid-league. A mid-rival crisis.
There you go.
Meanwhile, Bede has enough character development for all three of them.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. I can't believe our cast of 4 chippy young protagonists include faceless protagonist, How To, the Rehowening.
How To, Les Malazadas.
Yeah, right. Marnie, the girl who everybody thinks has a lot of personality or something. Mm-hmm. And then Bede, the best.
The only character with any actual growth in the whole game. Marnie's single event where she smiles in the hotel is not enough to carry a character.
Like, I get that everybody's into her because her character design is super cute, but...
And then also they gave, like, she's showing more skin than almost any other character in her gym leader outfit for no reason.
Game Freak really needs to get a handle on that.
Yeah, no, I'm afraid. Whenever Marnie shows up in the Galar Star Tournament, I'm afraid.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
She very nearly beats Hilda for amount of skin shown
like
on.
Between Misty and Hilda, Marnie is now up there, and I don't like that.
They either gotta raise the age of these kids, or they gotta stop forgetting how old these kids are.
Definitely.
Pick one.
Another game that did pre-fight dialogue very well, and a game that does everything very well, is Skullgirls.
Dude, yeah. Skullgirls, like, that's a game with palpable, so to speak, heart put into it.
Skullgirls is a game that has the opposite problem of wasted potential.
Skullgirls, like, to this day, it blows my mind that they went through the effort of, like, hand drawing all of
everything. Every single frame is hand drawn.
Like, the amount of time it takes to... Like, if we've learned anything from listening to Sakurai talk about Smash so much, the amount of work it takes to make a fighting game character...
It's incredible. The kinds of interactions you have to decide, the kinds of balancing you have to do to account for every other character that's in the game and every combination. And Skullgirls is one of those more complicated combination games because you can choose how many partners you have. So...
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in that game. And then they decide out of the blue, hey, remember how we released this game almost a decade ago? Here's another new character for free. Here comes Annie of the Stars.
Oh, Annie's in the... God, I'll get into these games and I'll completely lose track of them. Annie's in now?
Annie's in now.
Jeez.
So after the whole debacle with Mike Z,
right,
they decided, hey, let's put Annie in the game.
I really love that that's specifically who they went with. Mm-hmm. I would have preferred Shark Doctor, but, you know.
Stanley.
That's his name?
That's his name, Stanley.
Nice.
You know, I think they went with Annie also because there is Skullgirls Mobile now, which is like, it's fine. It's a mobile fighting game, so your mileage may vary.
Sure.
But Annie existed in that first.
Oh, okay.
So they added her in there, and she was a mobile exclusive, and I think they felt that it wasn't fair. So they're like, okay, you know what? We're just going to put Annie in the main game now.
That's so cute.
Yeah. And also, Annie's a great character.
Nice.
She's like, I think she's like 20-something.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Okay, so she's like an old child actor?
Yes.
That's cool.
But she stayed short so she can keep taking child roles.
Oh,
yes.
It's like a happier version of that Batman animated series episode.
baby doll.
Oh.
Or that... A serious version of the baby from the opening of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
All right, before we crash the whole podcast with a super depressing topic, back to Skullgirls.
Back to Skullgirls, the king of almost everything.
Yeah, they certainly. I mean, aside from final boss fights, like that just sucks.
Marie is not a well-designed fight. I will agree on that. It's too easy to both cheese and lose at the same time, which is not a good design for a boss.
For sure. And fighting game, I've always found that bosses in fighting games are kind of a weird concept anyway.
It really is.
Because on one hand, if you make them a balanced character, what's the point of them being the boss?
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, if you make them... In order to make a boss character work in a fighting game, you have to make them janky. Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat 9 has crazy armor. He can't be grabbed.
No.
His weapon, one of his weapons does like hit stun that opens him up for combos. Night Terror, secret final boss of Soul Calibur 3 that actually feels like a final boss because Abyss is a somewhat balanced character, is kind of similar to Shao Kahn. And so games like Ragna's a Brug Edge, what game is that?
Blaze Blue.
Brasbra?
Blaze Blue.
Games
the
like
Wheel
Blaze
of
Blue.
Fate is turning.
Yeah, the Wheel
Rebel
of Fate
1.
is turning, right. Blaze Blue, their final bosses are almost always like rival battles with a character in the game already, right?
But they're in a super form.
Okay.
Like, I think the second Blaze Blue had Hazama, which is like the guy with the green hair and the black hat.
Yeah, no, the guy who I thought was like a human detective version of Cosmo from the Fairly Odd Parents.
Yes.
Because I see these characters in cosplay before I see them in their source
game,
material.
It's like, what are you, like, Detective AU Cosmo?
Right. Dude, you have no any idea how long it took me to realize that My Little Pony was a thing. I thought they were, like, really weird Pokemon Gajinka for, like, a decade.
To be fair,
I mean one con.
With the amount of Eevee Gajinka and how crazy that gets, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, that's where my head was at. You know, I was at a con and I got introduced to My Little Pony and Homestuck for the first time at the same con, and I was what are these weird? They must be Pokemon, right? And I'm sitting there racking my brain.
So you're sitting there at the bar with like a stiff drink, and you're talking to the barkeep, and you're like, I don't know what these are.
Hey, what are the fellas with the gray skin and the weird horns? I can't figure out what Pokemon they're trying to be.
Like, you ain't never heard of Homestuck? And then you look at the barkeep and he's wearing the shirt with the green ghost on it.
Oh no! I'm like, what's a Homestuck? And he pours me a drink on the house. He's like, you're gonna need this.
You're gonna need this, kid. It's a long story.
Oh god. Okay, AU where it's a convention, but it's literally just a bar. It's just the bar from the convention.
See, like, you say AU, but Sabo has the bar.
I know. I realized what I said as I said it. I realized that literally half of our local Sabaton Con is just that specific thing.
Yeah, it's just a bar. I've never been there. like I want to just sit down and experience what it's like there.
Well, and it's attached to like the coziest lobby of any convention scene that we have here in Arizona.
Definitely.
And there's just a bar right there.
It's just an open. It's not an enclosed space. Like you walk into the hotel, and to your left is the reception desk, and to the right is some chairs and a bar. Like. It's crazy.
Yeah, like if big cosplay meetup photo shoots happen across from the bar,
maybe 15 feet away.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other venues in other states that are like that.
Yeah, no. At FanimeCon, one of the main hotels that they use for all of the panels, same deal. There's just a bar at the bottom floor. There's also a piano. So either the bar will hire someone to play piano, or more often than not, someone who cosplays someone who is supposed to play piano is sitting at the piano playing piano.
Those are my favorites. Those are my favorites. When a cosplayer like has the necessary required skill.
Yes.
That's why. Yeah, I mean that's part of why I haven't cosplayed certain characters because I don't know how to. I don't know, yo-yo or whatever.
I guess that's why you can't cosplay Yo-Yo Kirby.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. It's just yo-yoing is like a weird niche skill that I'd never bother to learn. Yeah. I thought of the skill before I thought of an applicable character. I guess Ness comes to mind.
Ness does come to mind, yeah. But he's also got other more noticeable things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like nobody's gonna cite you as like a fake Ness cosplayer if you don't have a yo-yo.
Yeah, as long as you have a bat and a backpack, you're good.
Right.
You can say okay.
Yeah. Like I do a human Donkey Kong, and it bothers me that I'm not like
ripped
larger, right?
But like, how can you be expected to? You're not a literal gorilla.
I know, but all of my cosplay, a lot of my cosplay plans have involved larger, heftier characters, and every single time one of my larger, heftier friends will be like, "Well, shouldn't I do that instead?" And I'm like,
Yeah, you're also not a literal rectangle like Grunkle Stan.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Oh yeah, another fairly large character that I've cosplayed with my like fairly anime protagonist frame.
Yeah, like I don't think anybody is rectangle enough to cosplay Grunkle Stan.
Yeah, well, and that's why and for my human Donkey Kong, I borrowed that idea of wearing an oversized blazer.
Yeah.
Because it kind of bulks out my frame.
It kind of does.
Artificially, like it did with Stan, poorly.
Man, we could just talk about cosplay the rest of the time, and I would not even be upset.
Yeah, this gets into like really weird niche. Like this is now us, like two cosplayers who aren't like famous. We don't have like you can't like follow our cosplay careers because we don't have any. Nope. But now we're talking about cosplay.
Because it's still cool to talk about cosplay. See, listeners, we roped in the name of the podcast into the actual conversation.
I just realized how I can marry the two topics.
Marry them.
So, I sort of air quotes premiered Human Donkey Kong because of the Cosplay Wrestling Federation.
Oh,
I did it. I brought the topics together.
All right.
And so let me just riff about this for a minute. Like, I mean no disrespect to the people who put it on, because to be fair, the event was fairly popular, and it came to us because it was fairly popular in California.
Yes.
I did not have a great time performing in it. Partially because I don't know wrestling, and partially because I was expecting to wrestle.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you went to the Cosplay Wrestling Federation, a panel which is named Wrestling Federation, but it features no real wrestling.
And I get why.
Yeah, because there'd be an incredible safety risk to have people fighting on stage.
And with the way they recruited people, that would like just straight up not work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like if I was a patron going to see the Cosplay Wrestling Federation event, I'd be kind of
I'd
confused.
be like, why are they not wrestling?
Like, when are they going to wrestle?
But I think it's made for the people who enjoy wrestling, not for the wrestling aspect of it. It's made for the people who like the kayfabe.
And so it was the kayfabe. It was all the pre-fight smack talk. That was the whole... and because they made me go first.
Yes.
Like, they should not have, because I did not know. I basically hit on the announcer girl and brushed my teeth with a banana. And then everyone else like came up to every other person and like smack talked them specifically. Yeah. And I was like, oh, now I get it. Yeah. And actually I got a fair, like, I honestly think I got cheated because they noticed I didn't know what I was doing, but my little shtick got higher applause than other people who stayed on.
Yeah, they really did. They liked you. because I think that you brought something that a lot of people didn't, and I think it's easy for a cosplayer in Cosplay Wrestling Federation to lean on the smack talk, because smack talk gets an easy like rile out of people, but it's not sustained. Like you'll get like one rile for saying like that someone sucks, and then they stop clapping, and then like it's silent. So you need to think of something else witty, or you need to carry yourself, or you need to go up there with a skit in mind, kind of like what you did.
Yeah. So like Donkey Kong, I had bananas in my coat.
Yep.
There was a human female for me to play off of the Donkey Kong kidnapped human woman.
Well, also like they play up that the person playing the chairwoman is very hot and sexy and everyone loves her.
Right.
And so and like people who know the Donkey Kong Country television show,
which is essentially the version of Donkey Kong I was
because
channeling.
That's the only Donkey Kong that talks
and sings.
He hits on Candy literally every second he sees her.
Right. And so that was sort of what I was going with. And then when I wasn't doing anything, I was like picking my nose and staring longingly at the light rigging that I desperately wanted to climb.
You were a monkey. And I think it really worked. So, I don't know. I do think you got cheated out of it, because I also think that they kind of planted who they want, like a couple of people who they wanted to win to begin with.
Dan Hibiki was going to go all the way.
Dan Hibiki was coming from California, going to go all the way to begin with, because this was a test run to see if Arizona was a good spot.
Oh no, Dan was a local guy.
Oh, was Dan?
Yeah,
because I've seen Dan at other California cons.
Yeah, I believe he travels, and actually now he lives somewhere else. He moved out of Arizona.
Okay,
but he shout out to homeboy Vance. He was part of a big panelist group here in Arizona.
Oh, no way!
They did a bunch of really popular panels. Yeah.
Oh, no way!
And Vance has been doing the Dan Hibiki cosplay for ages. One of the first cosplay centric panels I went to, he literally had photographs of himself in the costume that were autographed and was giving them out to people.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's great. No, and he's a really good improv actor. He's a really funny guy. Mm-hmm. He hosts great panels, and he was he was clearly the favorite of the people running the panel.
Yeah, of the CWF staff, they were rooting for Dan,
because they knew that Dan would stay funny throughout.
Yes,
even if I got high applause my first round, they didn't know me.
They didn't trust you.
They didn't trust me exactly. So
I don't know. I've had a lot of plans and prospects, and I'm thinking, because of the Backstreet Boys reunion tour going on right now.
Hold on. You don't just say that with no context. What?
So because you can't say what the name of the current pandemic is without getting demonetized on certain platforms.
Oh, okay. I thought for real.
No. So the euphemism on certain platforms is to call it the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Damn! Now I feel like an idiot. I should have just rolled with that.
No, it's fine. You're good. So, because of the current Backstreet Boys reunion tour, preventing us from doing other kinds of things like going to conventions and going to going to panels and doing all the fun things we usually like to do, like the things we're talking about right now, I think that when they happen again, I'm not going to hesitate, and I think I'm just going to pull the trigger and do all the things I've ever wanted to do.
I guess, but we're sitting here with all the time to make cosplay, and none of us are working on anything.
Well, I think I have some. I think I have time. I think I have time to finally put those into action after I make my monitor head. But speaking of CWF, I want to be Missing No in CWF.
Oh,
I want to take Missing No up.
Oh my god.
And I already know my angle. Because CWF, they're kind of resting on their laurels now. They've been successful for 5 years, 6 years now. And they have, a suite of champions. They have a Hall of Fame, if you would.
Yeah.
Well, what happens when you look at Missing No?
Oh my god! He messes up the whole Hall of Fame!
He messes up the whole Hall of Fame!
Bro.
So I'm gonna go up there, and I'm gonna be the biggest heel in the world. I'm gonna be like, all you guys so afraid of me, just getting a sneak peek so you can get all your master balls and rare candies. Well, guess what? I'm here right now, and even if I don't win, you know what I'm doing? I'm ruining it for all of you. And I'm gonna point at the provocateurs. I'm gonna point at the commissioner and Mr. Hiki and all the people up on stage. And we're like, your lovely little Hall of Fame, it's going down tonight.
What a reference. Boy.
And I just want it to be like a shitty cardboard box Missing No with my head poking out of it.
There you go.
I mean, there have been worse things at CWF. One year, the cosplay that won was Freaky Fish Guy. It was just a guy in a fish suit.
When we were preparing for it, we didn't have a lot of people, so they literally just like called in some guy in like a t-shirt.
I remember
he
him.
made up a wrestling persona.
I remember him.
Shout out to Papa Power Man. He was funny
Papa
as heck.
Power Man, I remember
but
Papa Power Man.
like nobody in the audience cared.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
the point.
Yeah, CWF does seem to be like any port in a storm.
Yes,
a lot of the time.
They definitely, and that's how they got the laurels that they so deservedly rest on.
Yeah, and and again, like it's a funny concept. It just, is to me. I walked into it and wound up like face planting because I had no concept of what they were going for.
They kind of threw you into the intermediate course when you had never done it before,
and that's fine. It's just without a wrestling background, I wasn't even sure what to do. Now, part of the reason why I wanted to go in though as Donkey Kong, because my first plan was Grunkle Stan because I already had that, and I have a wig for that, and my Donkey Kong wig didn't work, so I had my hair cut specifically to be Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And now my hair's too long for that again. So, but I heard that one of their like reigning champions back home was Mario.
Yeah. Oh, that.
And I was like 200% ready.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mario at the California cons is quite the contender, but he's a little more cartoon Mario and a little less video game Mario.
Sure. I was cartoon Donkey Kong.
Yeah, he's a little more Italian mobster Mario.
Right.
With the spicy meatballs.
And I was a little more like sweet-talking, womanizing Donkey Kong.
Yes, that's true.
Question mark.
I think that would have worked well because he has a peach, so you could have hit on her.
Oh, no! Yeah. and I could have dropped my signature pickup line. Hey babe, you know what mammal has the best penis to body size ratio? Well, actually, it's not the gorilla. The gorilla's one of the worst. Actually, forget I said that.
It's banana.
Yeah, right. That is a banana in my pocket because the gorilla has one of the. All right, that's your
the joke.
Yeah, that's your animal fact for the day, listeners.
Zing.
Very disappointing to find that out.
No, yeah, I before this missing no idea, I have also already I've run ideas for other old cosplays I've had going up on stage and doing this and that and the other, but they weren't nearly as cohesive as this missing no thing. So that's why I think I want to do it, because I think the Hall of Fame thing will go over well with wrestling fans and with the people who run it. I think Missing No will go over well with people who have a rudimentary knowledge of Pokemon. Because if people who haven't played Pokemon since Red and Blue, they'll remember three things. They'll remember Pikachu, Charizard, and Missing No.
It's true.
And the other thing I was thinking about doing is finding blue wrapped candies, and when I run up to the stage, just throwing them out. There's all your rare candies.
They're not so rare now, are they?
Not so rare now, are they? You have 136 of them. And that's why.
And that number is kept track of with a symbol of an old man.
Because we couldn't display numbers over 100. Technically over 99, but you don't want me to get into the specifics of it.
Oh man.
I think I really want to do it though.
On your return, like if you ever come back, you should just be a skeleton.
I was thinking of updating the cosplay if they brought me back.
Yeah.
And attaching like the Aerodactyl head to my shoulder, and then maybe like having a hand puppet that's the ghost.
Oh boy.
It's like, look, I'm a little more glitched out because you keep running away. The next day comes here at the con, and you're all gone. What am I supposed to do? You mean I'm supposed? What do you mean leave?
Oh, this tear in reality ain't gonna repair itself.
See, there's so much you can do. That's why. So, anyways, listeners, if you have no idea what we've been going on about for the past at least 10 minutes, please just go to YouTube and look up Cosplay Wrestling Federation. You won't be disappointed. The last live one in California, Tommy Wrestling appeared, who was Tommy Wiseau.
Oh.
And he renamed himself Tommy Wrestling.
That's very... Yep.
And
all right.
he was in the Final Four, and he recused himself.
He what?
He just quit. Like Tommy Wiseau would do.
Yeah.
He just walked out. He's like, I'm fed up with this world. And then Skeletor won. And Skeletor wasn't even in the running. He bought himself in with a money in the bag rank match.
Nice.
Like earlier in the year, he had won a money in the bag, whatever. He had won something that gave him free entry to the current Cosplay Wrestling Federation, and he decided to use it during the Final Four.
That's amazing.
It is very good.
Yeah. Neat concept. Wish it was real wrestling.
And yeah.
I would have gone ape.
If it was real wrestling, I wouldn't join. I know I would lose. Hey, listen. I've only got water gun, and sky attack.
Hey man, that sky attack's a good move.
It's not. It takes 2 turns. You can pummel me before then.
Oh god, with your 0 defense and your 9,000 HP, or whatever it is.
My bird type.
Yeah.
I can't believe. Not only is he in the game, not only is he so ubiquitous, because it was possible for him to not be ubiquitous. It was possible for all of us in this whole world to never have known about Missing No.
And it was also possible for it to not make a
Yeah.
lasting impression. Mm-hmm. If it was any different, it might not have stuck.
If it
in
didn't have a
minds.
shape.
Yeah.
If it didn't somehow help you,
right. Yeah, if it was only a critical hazard, like
Yeah.
it sometimes is.
Like if it just crashed the game, it wouldn't be as memorable as it is. But no, it helped you out, even though it messed up your Hall of Fame, because that doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
No.
It was a very helpful little glitch with a little face you could put to it, even though it didn't have a real face, it had a shape.
Yeah, air quotes face.
Yeah. And not only that, it is known about in the Japanese fan base. It's insane. And I love that he exists. And I know we're never going to get anything of him ever. Never, ever. But I can dream. I can dream because...
Pokemon could market it if they wanted to.
A couple of years ago, they were marketing the Gen 1 sprites. They were selling, throw pillows of, what a Pokemon looked like in your party in Gen 1.
Oh, yeah!
The little formless animal. Or, the plant. They were really marketing Gen 1 style stuff a couple of years ago. And I don't think it would have been too far-fetched, Zing, to have a little Missing No throw pillow. Just a little rectangle.
I wonder if they didn't because it's not possible for them to trademark what essentially looks like a messed up barcode.
I mean, possibly, but at the same time, I think they have enough money to throw their weight around to say, we're copywriting this. Yes, it's a couple of rectangles, but we're only copywriting this for pillows.
And you never know. Maybe in the future, when the generation of kids who grew up discovering Missing No are now working for Game Freak inevitably.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because, there's not a chance. There is no possible chance that the people working for Game Freak in 10 to 20 years will not have played Pokemon.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be a requirement, if not a literal impossibility.
It's an impossibility.
Otherwise.
It's the biggest media franchise in the world. You can go almost anywhere in the world and show them a picture of Pikachu and they'll know what it is. They might not know what Missing No is, but if you can show them a picture of this yellow rodent and they know what it is, you're off to a good start.
Yeah. You can come to every episode of this podcast and
Yeah, you can come to every episode of this podcast and hear us mention Pikachu or the Pokemon Company or Game Freak.
We were doing so well.
Listen, how much do we think about it on a day-to-day basis?
Every waking second.
So, forgive us for talking about it maybe, 40 minutes in? I think we're okay.
And that's how it went last time. We started off not... Well, that's how it's been every time. We haven't started with Pokemon, and we've always wound our way back to it.
That's where our heart is.
Welcome to It's Still Cool, where it's secretly a Pokemon podcast with a preface of a bunch of other stuff.
Now that we're online, Pokemon podcast is technically one of our tags.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Good marketing.
It's for visibility, you see. Paul Marketing would want it that way.
Right.
If we were answering to a Paul Marketing or a John stockholder, he would make us put Pokemon podcast to the tags.
A Nick hashtag.
Nick hashtag.
He would approve.
He would definitely want a lot more hashtags than we're using, but I'm not comfortable with that.
Well, you're the one who's marketing us, not me.
That's true.
I literally, I don't own any of this equipment. I don't upload it. I literally am just here.
He did the wonderful art though that you see every time.
Oh, right. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, I did that, and I'm gonna do more of that.
Well, that's good.
I forget that that's my half of the contribution.
Well, speaking of wonderful art that you did, I want to segue a little bit from pre-fight dialogue and Cosplay Wrestling Federation to Sonic.
Okay, this is the Sonic and Pokemon podcast, separate but not one. We'll save that for a special episode too.
The Sonic v Pokemon. We can't just make a Sonichu episode, can we?
That's exactly what I'm afraid our podcast is inevitably going to become.
Zap to the extreme.
Yes, Father.
But in the Stone Age. I'm sorry, I have to say that every time. I want to go to Sonic because and I want to go to Heroes eventually because I've been thinking a lot about Heroes has been on the mind for me.
Same.
Okay, so we're gonna go there. First of all, I think the pre-team fight dialogue in Sonic Heroes is very nice.
Do you mean the cutscenes, or do you mean the actual?
I mean
like,
the cutscenes
because they do
both.
Yeah,
but the in battle before the battle starts is not as good.
No,
but the cutscenes I think are very well done. I especially like the Chaotix ones a lot.
They all make no sense.
That's why I love them.
Why does Rouge consider them to be so threatening looking?
Because, to be fair, it's a purple chameleon who looks like a ninja, a giant green crocodile, and a child. And they have no clue what's going on. And I think Rouge is kind of on edge the whole time in the Dark Story. Because she's traveling with an amnesiac Shadow and a killer robot.
Right, the last time she saw Shadow, the world was ending.
Yeah, and he died. So not only is he back from the dead, but she's also with one of her biggest enemies, killer robots.
Elite killer robot.
Yeah, who is on a tepid relationship with them at the best of times.
Omega is best character in all of Sonic.
Yeah, definitely. So I think Rouge is a little bit on edge, and if she saw anybody who was a stranger, she'd probably fight them. Because she just wants to get back to her apartment with Shadow.
I guess so.
That's Rouge's quest in Team Dark is to get back to her apartment.
After stealing Eggman's treasure.
After stealing his treasure. And I guess she learns that his treasure is Shadow. Something about friendship.
The real treasure. The real treasure is the friends we thought we were dead along the way.
Yes, exactly.
So, speaking of thinking dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, Sonic Heroes brings back Shadow. Uh-huh. Spoiler alert for those of you who don't know.
No, we can't do this. This game is 15 years old.
Spoiler alert, Shadow dies and then comes back, for those of you who only know Shadow post-mortem.
Who have never played a Sonic game past Sonic Adventure 2, I envy you.
Yeah. Right. But so, the whole time I'm waiting for Sonic and Shadow to see each other again, and for it to be like a big...
It should be a big thing.
A big thing. And then Sonic literally just goes, talk about being stubborn and full of surprises.
Yeah, I mean...
And then Shadow doesn't even know what he's talking about!
That's true, because he lost his memory.
Yeah, Rouge is the front man of that scene for Team Dark until the end where Shadow decides, like, it'll be a date to die for.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't like his characterization in that game, but it makes sense because he's an amnesiac, baby.
Yeah. He's never going to age past when he was frozen.
Yeah, no. Because they knew that they struck gold. So, the reason I wanted to get to Heroes from that segue is because Heroes, I realize, starts the descent. Sonic Adventure 1, as flawed as it is, and as much as we've already talked about it, is excellent in a horrible way.
Yeah, I mean, Sonic Adventure is ambition that technologically could not be supported.
Truth. So, and then Adventure 2 is excellent in an excellent way. There's almost nothing wrong with Adventure 2.
Besides the...
besides the things that are wrong with it.
Besides the audio balancing.
Well, no, I didn't say Adventure 2 Battle. I said Adventure 2. So in Adventure 2, there's no audio balancing issues. There's less glitches. The lighting is better.
Oh.
But there's still horrible kart race minigames. Why does Rouge have us buy a car?
Dude, Rouge, again, like, I don't know if we mentioned this before on the podcast, but Rouge is the most, like... Rouge is the best character in Sonic. She is the most, like, got her life together character.
Yeah, I think
she has an apartment in a nice part of town. She has a car. She has a government job.
She has multiple jobs.
Multiple jobs. But a cushy government job that lets her get away with her biggest hobby. Yeah. Which is her passion.
Yeah.
She's living her passion. And
Oh my
for real, dude,
yeah.
like, aim to be like Rouge. Don't emulate Sonic. Don't emulate Knuckles.
Or Shadow. Please don't emulate Shadow. Or Silver.
Yeah.
Please don't emulate those two.
Yeah, no, Rouge is the role model in Sonic.
She definitely is. So...
Be a responsible adult, do crime.
So then... Sega had to bow out of the console wars, and they had to start developing games for other consoles. They threw out Adventure 2 Battle and Adventure DX to kind of fill the gap between their older games and their newest game. And I think when they did that, I think they lost their way. And I talk about this a lot in the podcast, like when a specific company lost their way.
When it's not still cool?
Yeah, like when it's not still cool. And it's still cool now, but there was a point when it wasn't, and we need to talk about it. And I think Heroes is the first misstep. Because in Adventure 1, not only is the level design really fun, because they still follow the act structure from the older games without calling them acts.
Right. Each of the levels sort of has two distinct phases, for Sonic at least.
For Sonic at least, who was very adamantly like the main gameplay style in Adventure 1. Mm-hmm. The rest of the gameplay styles are fun, and they're fun to control, most of them at least, but they were more tech demos. Like, the real meat and potatoes of Adventure 1 is Sonic's campaign.
And Gamma's story.
Sonic for gameplay, Gamma for story. That's what you get. But Adventure 2 forewent the act structure entirely for something brand new, which is like a much more fleshed out level each time. Like, every level in Adventure 2 is much more memorable.
Yeah. And they sort of do not a reverse, not an inverse, but like a paralog of the act structure, where instead now, like, multiple characters are visiting different parts of
the same place.
Because, like, Skyrail is in Pumpkin Hill.
Yeah.
But you're seeing it during a different time of day, under different circumstances, with a different character.
And Weapons Bed and Metal Harbor are the same place.
Yeah, well, you have Prison Island as a whole location.
Which has plenty of levels in and of itself.
5?
6. Like, there's, like, Iron Gate, Prison Lane.
Everybody but Knuckles has a stage there.
Yeah, everybody but Knuckles has a stage there. So yeah, 5 levels. I don't think anybody has 2 stages there.
Sonic does.
Oh, Sonic does. Yeah, White Jungle and Metal Harbor.
Green Forest.
Oh, yeah, Green Forest. I always get them mixed up. Why do I always get them mixed up? Anyways, so, I think you're right. I think they don't do an act structure, but they do a location structure.
Yeah.
Like, there are multiple levels aboard the Ark. There are multiple levels on Prison Island. There are even a couple, like, there are the 2 Pumpkin Hill levels. There's a couple of pyramid levels, like Pyramid Cave.
What's even funnier about that, though, is most of these are, like, major settings. You're on the Ark because it's a major plot point. You're on the Prison Island, major plot point. Pyramid, Eggman's base, major plot point.
Yes.
And we still go to this random pumpkin-shaped mountain range twice.
Twice, because they wanted to reuse the assets, but also it's actually a really cool location.
Yeah!
But then...
Bring back the Pumpkin Hills. Give me Pumpkin Hill Zone.
Yes.
In Sonic Mania 2.
2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Starring Knack the Weasel, or Fang the Sniper, or whatever your preference is.
Oh, you're that Sonic from an even more differenter dimension.
Hi, I'm... Oh, God, what's his name? The
Scourge.
green one? Scourge.
Yeah.
Petition. Hashtag... we're getting Nick hashtag online. He's telling us to use hashtag put Scourge in Mania 2.
Did we lose that character in the lawsuit too?
Yes.
God
damn you, Ken Penders.
Fuck that guy.
Because if Scourge was ever put into a game before the lawsuit, we would have been fine. But he wasn't. But and I'll get back to my point in a little bit.
Sorry, yeah, I took us like 6 steps away from what we were talking about.
It's fine, because this is actually cool information. Sega owns the Echidna tribe, actually. from the comics.
Finally.
Because they were in Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and then the lawsuit happened after that. So Sega owns them because
the
they were in a game.
lawsuit happens that late?
Yes. The Genesis wave wasn't until like 2012.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what I get for like being a huge fan of Sonic and not having the guts to dive into the absolute heaping mass of comics.
Yeah, because there's like 200 something issues before the Genesis wave. It's insane.
I love that they called it that.
They couldn't have called it anything else.
That's true.
So we get to Heroes, and Heroes tries to go back to the act structure in a very literal sense and does a horrible job. Like every team has to go through more or less the same levels, almost verbatim,
at varying difficulties.
Yeah, at varying difficulties or with varying win conditions. But like, there's nothing really separating the acts. Like we were both replaying it a couple of weeks ago. And, like, I couldn't remember what happened first in the jungle level.
Oh, yeah,
like, is it the swinging level or is it the frog level? And, like, in Rail Highway or Rail Station, it's like, the level is grind.
Yeah.
The grind the level.
Rail Canyon and Bullet Station are almost, like, Bullet Station is the one where you get fired out of a gun, so you get a 13-second break from grinding on rails like you do in the previous level.
But it's still just grind the level. Like, and then, like, so... Heroes, they really lost the plot a little bit. They had this.
They lost the plot, yeah, that's for sure.
But not just in actual plot, but in kind of game design. They had a really good flow going with Adventure 1, kind of retaining the act structure without literally calling them acts and making it really fun. And then Adventure 2 had levels that were plot relevant, so that's why characters shared locations. And then Heroes is like, well, just do acts again.
And the levels are so, like, gappy and floaty and not enjoyable with how slippery the characters are. It is my personal theory that the... not much of a theory, but... because the Eggman's, like, fleet is featured so heavily in the opening, they probably created that level first and based every other level on it.
Oh, maybe.
Like... Every level has so many holes. It's just, it's floating platforms. All of the levels are floating platforms, like, even when they don't need to be.
I mean, I'm thinking about Grand Metropolis, right? Like, you could have been running around in the city streets.
Yeah, but you're not.
You're not. You're in this giant floaty highway in the sky of the city, like...
Right, Casino Park is 1 billion feet off the ground.
Yeah, for no reason.
The first stage has water to sort of supplement, but like it's still the same concept.
Yeah, like...
You're still falling into an endless pit.
Yeah, I mean, at least Seaside Hill does start on the ground, and then you kind of ascend a little bit, but, like, not really...
But, like, you're still surrounded by water, which constitutes a bottomless... It's the same principle.
It's the same principle, yeah.
Just with a different color. Like, Sonic still dies.
Yeah. The jungle level is really high up for no reason.
Yeah. And, like, the drop shots when you get to see, like, everything down below is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But... yeah, so that's what I think. I think that they designed the Egg Fleet concept level and then just based everything else on that. And you know what,
that makes a lot of sense too, because I think about the Egg Fleet level and it's really fun.
It is. It works so... Like, we're bitching about level design and then, like, the Egg Fleet level is actually really good. Final Fortress drags on a little long.
Yeah, but Egg Fleet is the best level in Sonic Heroes by far.
Yeah.
And if they designed every level off of one template, I think it kind of shows that, like, they didn't know what they were doing. And then you go from there, right? Because I'm saying that Heroes is the first misstep. So Heroes happens, and it's not great. It obviously has redeeming qualities. I'm not about to be here and say Heroes is a horrible video game, because it's not.
Sure.
But then Shadow happens,
and that's a horrible
video game. There's almost nothing redeeming about this video game.
It doesn't even have a good soundtrack.
No, it's not. Like it does so much to hurt the series. It barely does anything to help. And then what's after that? Secret Rings?
06? Oh, right.
Secret Rings happens technically first, and that's a horrible video game. Like, and then 06 happens, and we all know about 06. Like, the first misstep happened with Heroes, and I don't think they ever looked at what went wrong. I think
they tripped at such a high speed that they never got their footing again.
Like how in 06 when you trip in a high speed section, you just lose a life instead of, like, tripping.
Yep.
Wow. You never want to be in the position where a metaphor from Sonic 06 can aptly describe your game development scenario.
Especially if the games that you're developing
are Sonic 06.
And everything you try to do afterwards to make up for it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, I think you're definitely right. Heroes marked a very distinct change, and I feel like Shadow almost tried to go back to the adventure themes in a sense, and it was just whatever they did over at Sonic Team, they had already completely fucked themselves.
And I think I know what it is. I think after Adventure 2, I think Yuji Naka left. The guy who was responsible.
Oh.
Yeah. He left, finally. He was like, I'm done. Bye. I'm going to do my own thing. And they were like, what do we do? Just make acts again. Okay. And since then, it's just been, just do X again. Maybe that will work. And it really hasn't. Like, the best 2 games that have come out or the best 3 games that have come out since Adventure 2.
Boost era.
It's Unleashed, Colors, and Generations. And even those games aren't perfect.
Yeah, Unleashed, Werehog drags on too long.
Colors.
And Colors is just...
I could never get into Colors.
Colors... I love Colors. Colors has my favorite final boss fight in any Sonic game.
I've seen that.
But... Colors drags on too long. Colors, remember how you were like, let's just try acts again?
Yeah.
Each zone of Colors has 6 acts.
What the hell?
One of which is like an entirely platforming-centric, weird...
Like a puzzle level?
Kinda, yeah.
That's like a Mario level?
Yes, sort
Okay.
of. Like how Mario will have like gimmick levels.
Yeah.
There's like this yellow spring pad that follows you everywhere, and you have to use it.
Okay.
And that's what the whole level's based around. The wisps are cool,
Yeah.
but I feel like in general they use them fine.
All right.
And the soundtrack is killer.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, I don't know. Colors somehow feels like a step backwards from Unleashed's Day levels in its gameplay.
And then I've heard of this. I've never played it, obviously, like, 'cause I never could get into it, so I don't know. I'm actually asking for your input on this. I hear a lot of people complain about Colors' writing, because Colors was the debut of the new writers for the series.
And so that was what I was going to start talking
All
about,
right.
but I realized we were kind of talking more about gameplay.
But we're talking about everything.
So when it comes to Colors writing, yeah, Colors is... So... And that's another thing that starts with Heroes. Heroes took a minimalistic approach to the story. And to be fair, like, Heroes' story is fine.
It's fine.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it works as a Sonic story.
I know I said, like, I made the joke about losing the plot, but that's because they didn't have much of one.
Yeah.
But it was serviceable. It was fine. I liked the twist at the end, air quotes twist.
Yeah, like, it's cool that Metal Sonic gets to be a major villain for
Yeah.
the whole series for a game.
No, it was good. And then they go real heavy on the story stuff again.
Yeah.
And then I think Colors is their second attempts to like pull back.
Okay.
Because Colors is not story heavy.
Yeah.
Colors is Sonic and Tails dicking around at an amusement park, and Eggman doesn't even really like...
He's not like a threat?
He doesn't present himself as a threat early on. It's more of like Sonic and Tails are like, we're sure that he's up to something, but we can't figure it out.
Okay.
And then halfway through the game, it's like, yeah, he's up to something.
Yeah.
And
He's doing something.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
He like, just like in Lost World, he implements he does a thing to Tails, and it lasts for 2 seconds, and then it's over.
Okay.
He has like a mind control ray, and Sonic's like, oh, I can't fight Tails, and then it runs out of power, and Eggman never tries it again.
Oh my god.
And then it's just full of weird humor.
Yeah.
And it's like annoyingly self-aware and meta.
Oh.
Sonic says some really embarrassingly bad lines. Tails is almost irrelevant to the story. The little wisp, Yacker, doesn't offer a whole lot. Like, he's mostly inoffensive, but he doesn't fill the same kind of like important feeling role.
Yeah.
Sonic overall is just like clearly a new interpretation of the character.
Like more of adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Sonic.
Yes.
And less Sonic Adventure 2 or even Sonic Unleashed Sonic.
Yeah. Well, I think like 06 to Unleashed, Sonic has a very much more like outlined, dedicated, heroic persona. He's much more, dare I say, chivalrous, because Black Knight's in there too.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Sonic Adventure, he's motivated because he has beef with Eggman.
Yeah.
Sonic Adventure 2, he's motivated because he got framed for a crime.
Yeah.
Sonic doesn't do anything out of heroism, and as a matter of fact, blows a ton of government property up.
Yeah.
But Sonic Adventure 2 Sonic is motivated entirely out of spite, and then Sonic Heroes is Sonic being a hero, and Shadow the Hedgehog is Sonic having to be like Star Wars.
I guess it's kind of a beef for the Eggman and Heroes. Because it's like, he gets the letter.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's like, oh, well, Eggman wants me to stop him.
And then, And then from then on, we have like Sonic falls in love, air quotes, with a companion and protects them at all costs.
Yeah.
Elise being a literal example, but the genie of the ring and secret rings, and then Chip
and the sword.
No,
I think he's trying to get home. And
he's trying to get home more in that one,
and he's also trying to fix the round table.
Yeah.
There's an evil king.
Yeah.
All right.
Sonic doesn't have to be as like written chivalrously because the story is chivalrous.
Yeah, it demands him of it.
Yeah, and so but there's definitely an era where Sonic is like this super like star-walled hero with a very stern moral code, and he's not as sassy.
No, he's like more just like stoic but carefree at the same time.
And then Sonic Colors brings him back to like
the jokey kind of cartoon character.
But it overclocks that part, and he's just kind of like a snarky, and that I've heard it comes to a real head in Sonic Lost World, where he's kind of just a snarky asshole.
Yeah,
he's like not a good person in that game.
Yeah. So like that was the first misstep.
Yeah, you're right. Heroes really does set the precedent for everything to come.
It really does, and I think it's kind of a shame because I think that I guess we're looping back around to the beginning of the episode that Sonic's one of those properties that has a lot of really lost potential.
Yeah, Sonic Lost Potential.
Sonic Lost Potential, the video game. Like
featuring the Deadly Six, all 6 writers for Sega Sonic team.
Oh my god, I can't believe that they're real characters. I still can't believe that.
And they keep putting Zavik and stuff.
I think the other one's in Team Sonic Racing too, isn't he? The purple one?
I don't think so, but
I don't know their names.
Yeah,
they all have a Z name.
There's YouTube videos out there that explain like Zavik is supposedly like being pushed because he resembles Bowser, and they're trying to give Sonic a
Bowser character,
more monstrous recurring villain.
But like no one likes him. Everybody hates him,
and he keeps showing up and stuff, and he explicitly doesn't want to be involved with any of their shit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess that's kind of a fun angle. Like, hey, Zavik.
He's on Team Eggman and Team Sonic Racing.
Why?
He hates Eggman.
Yeah, like, he never worked with Eggman in the first place because of, like, want.
Yeah,
like,
so unless Eggman's, like, forcing him to drive a car with a magic conch.
I guess a conch.
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 Sorry, I don't know the difference.
It's fine. No, it's funnier to say conch. That's why I remember it. There's, and even in Heroes, or not Heroes Forces. And in Forces, it's not the real one. So, like, what gives?
Yeah. They're going to give Zavik a boss fight, but not Chaos.
Yeah. Oh my god. You're going to tease Chaos, right? The return of Chaos. A character we haven't seen for over a decade. Who everybody loves. Everybody loves Chaos.
Everybody loves Chaos.
And no one hates Chaos. And he comes back, you're going to tease him, and he dies in a cutscene. And not only that, there are more clones of him, and they all die in cutscenes. But we got Infinite.
We could spend an entire episode ripping on Forces.
But all we need to say is that Infinite is probably one of the worst written Sonic characters ever made.
Yeah, and boy, like, it's if Shadow's anything to base it on, we're only going to go downhill from here.
Yeah, like, Shadow already is, like, losing traction as a character with every game that comes out that features him in it at any point. And Infinite is, like, Shadow starting at, like, the lowest possible point.
Yeah.
And we're only going to be downhill from here.
Downhill Zone, Act 1.
Downhill Zone? That's like a Tony Hawk game, isn't it? Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam Zone Act 1.
I'm actually fairly shocked that Sonic and Tony Hawk have never had a crossover.
Not yet.
Like, they put Danica Patrick in the racing game, and they didn't put Tony Hawk in Sonic Riders.
So we've got Danica Patrick and the Team Fortress 2 and Wreck-It Ralph in the Sonic racing game, but we can't have Sonic in the Tony Hawk reboot. Okay. Maybe he'll be in Tony Hawk 3+4. You can only dream. If they can have Boba Fett, they can have Sonic. Come on.
They're practically the same character.
A blue guy, everybody loves him. Fast, kinda. Gets like one line of dialogue. Used to, at least. He used to say, "I'm out of here," and then kill himself if he didn't move in CD for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So, speaking of the beginning of the episode, did we have any patch notes to go over from the last episode?
I actually don't think we did, and if we did, and I don't remember them right now, then we'll have a double feature patch notes episode, or at the beginning of next week's episode.
Yeah, be sure to email us at itsstillcoolcast.
itsstillcoolcast@gmail.com.
With all of the things we didn't say correctly in this episode, including
Definitely.
the fact that Tony called Boba Fett blue, when clearly Jango Fett is blue and Boba Fett is green.
You gonna call teal green?
He's like mostly green-ish. Teal. Yeah, he's teal.
He's teal. And teal was kind of blue.
It's kind of green.
I'm
though.
not the wrongest person right now in the world.
What? Jesus Christ, I hope not.
I really hope not. Anyways, message us at It's Still Cool Cast about things with failed potential or unrealized potential, or whether or not you think Boba Fett is teal or blue. Anyways, I've been Tony.
And I've been Jesse.
And this is Still Cool.
God, I hope so.
We will be. Watch. See?